Let me set exactly how high, or rather how low, the hurdle is that Republicans have to overcome in overtaking the Senate and effectually repealing Obamacare. Let's rewind the clock 3 years. This monstrosity, this 2700 bill was passed with the Reconciliation Act, the Budget Reconciliation, allowing Democrats to pass it with only 51 senators' votes. Now,
and buried at Christmas time also.
At Christmas time.
So, and nobody had time to read it.
So the fact that the bill is now a tax requires the GOP to only have 51 senators. It can also be repealed through the Budget Reconciliation Act. Had this been deemed a Commerce Clause regulation, it would have required potentially a 60-vote GOP senator vote to overcome what we would assume to be a Democratic filibuster. But this is the repercussion of
a tax bill now.
This is the repercussion of calling it a tax. You pointed out 7 states, 4 of which the Republicans are essentially playing offense on, right? You only have to get to 51 now to repeal Obamacare. So it's influential. It's important that it's a tax. It changes the legislative process.
Fascinating. So what are your thoughts on this? When you look at this electoral map, there's Nevada, Montana, New Mexico, North Dakota, etc. I think it's notable, we have a full screen of this, that Senator Jon Tester from Montana, Democrat, who is in the battle of his political life, his response to the ruling was, quote, "Today's ruling doesn't mean this responsible constitutional law can't be improved, but it's an important step forward in the fight to fix a broken system," etc., etc. I mean, that's pretty mixed in terms of a reaction to the Supreme Court decision.
It sounds like a little doublespeak to me, but if he just wants to look across the border to Canada, Canada's having a debate right now about their health care because it's bankrupting some provinces. So for people who are running, this is almost a gift because it shows the problems with big government. Ideally, everyone wants affordable health care, but it's not realistic, not with the way the governments are working. And we see this in Canada, which has a much smaller population, about 38 million people, compared to the American population of, we're at about 380 million. It's very difficult to do this well. So for all of these people who are running, I hope they will take a side. It's a clear choice. We can see, although we'd like it to work, history tells us it doesn't work.
I think it's set to be a big issue. We all agree on that, and it'll also be an issue that's brought into, I think, Romney's narrative about the economy specifically, and why the economy has not improved as quickly as it should have in comparison to other pullouts from recessions. It's because of the uncertainty created by leaving the government in charge of 1/6 of the economy. And I think that will be a major component of how he presents that not only is this a problem for the future, but the fact that the administration focused so much on this, spent so much political capital on this, has fought this out to this level, shows you poor judgment, because this has already had negative impact on the economy, and it's the reason why we haven't had the growth that we should have had.
So we know in 2010, when the Republicans overtook the House of Representatives and made big gains in the Senate, that Obamacare hung like an albatross around the neck of many Democratic candidates. The question is now, 2 years later, does it carry the same weight? Will it, from now until November, carry the weight for all these senatorial candidates, these congressional candidates, to allow the Republicans to capitalize on this? I don't know the answer to that. Will it carry the same weight it did 2 years ago?
I think it will, because of the Supreme Court case, because of the emotion behind it, because of the implications of it. Now we have something that you can point to in direct correlation to the economy. No one cares about health care if they don't have a job. So when you put that at the fore, then you have no choice but to discuss it. And this is not the conversation that Democrats want to have. That's why they've been curiously silent. No one's been running around waving the Obamacare victory flag since they passed this bill, because they saw that it was going to be politically problematic at this time. And that's what we're looking at now. I don't think that they're some say they want this fight, but I say bring it on. Because when the American people really fully understand what this means now, they're paying attention, and we have an opportunity to really explain the dangers of this. I think the average American person, especially independents, will revolt against the Obamacare bill.
Just to be devil's advocate real quick, I think that's going to be not the easiest argument to make, to connect Obamacare to the economy. Substantively, you can make the argument. I buy it 100%. It's injected uncertainty in the economy. But as a political maneuver, that's not an easy argument to make. Look, Obamacare, economy, they're connected. This is why your jobs this is why there's job loss. I don't think
the
it's
better
Tax
argument
increase, very easy. Tax
That's the
increase,
best one.
Job
That's the
killer,
best one.
job killing, tax increase, government takeover of your health
What
care.
about a health care plan killer? That's another part
Well,
of this
sure.
too. I mean, I think that to your point, Will, if it's hard to make people feel that this is going to hurt the economy in a macro sense, and it's a convoluted argument, which I don't think it is, but maybe it is.
It's very macro.
I don't think it's convoluted. I think it's a pretty straightforward. I think people aren't hiring, and a lot of small business owners have said they're not hiring because of the worries of this.
That's
So
right.
that's pretty direct in the economy.
Or
but
it could put us out of business.
But if you can convince people that whatever plan they're on now, because amazingly most people do like the health care plan that they have of people who are covered under some sort of plan, if you can convince them, and I think this is not hard to do when you look at the guts of this bill, that will no longer be the case. They will be kicked off of whatever their plan is because their company or their business that provides it for them won't be able to afford it anymore under this plan. Then I think that really can resonate with people.
So